Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Who wins this fight? Now, we all know why this fight is happening. It's because Charles Oliveira had an injury in his camp. Now, who wins this fight? Before we talk about who wins this fight, let's talk about their past performances. Let's start off with Islam Makhachev. Now, this guy is not active at all. Let's talk about his latest performance against Charles Oliveira. It's not even recently, because this was a year ago in which he absolutely dominated this fight and made him tap in round two. Now, his latest performance in February was against Alexander Volkanovski, in which this was one of his closest fights ever, but he still won by decision.
For the winner by unanimous decision, and still.
Now, Alexander Volkanovski, he did have a fight in February with, again, like we just talked about, Islam Makhachev. And his recent performance against Rodriguez, he absolutely dominated Rodriguez in this fight. And that's why he stopped him in round three.
It's obvious enough that with no training camp and on a 10-day notice, it's definitely going to be Alexander Volkanovski's biggest downfall coming into this fight. But I did hear and I've seen in some videos that he's always ready for a fight, even when he's not training. Now, this could or may not be true, but regardless, it doesn't matter because on a 10-day notice to get in fighting shape, it takes way more months. So you're telling me that he's going to be the same, if not better, on a 10-day notice than having months to prepare? It obviously doesn't make sense when you put it that way. So based off this, it's obvious that Alexander Volkanovski is not going to be at 100% when it comes to fight night, because it takes more than 10 days to get in fighting shape when you're going to go up against a guy like Islam, who is defending their belt and who have been training months for a good opponent like Charles Oliveira. But at the same time, it's not a one-sided fight completely, only because Alexander Volkanovski is not an easy opponent whatsoever. Just listen to what Usman had to say about this.
Volkanovski's no slouch. I mean, he has no neck for you to choke. You know, the legs aren't super long for you to grab and take him down. So, you know, he's just a perfect little, perfect soldier out there.
So in the end, we can only expect Islam Makhachev to have no problem defending his title once again against Alexander Volkanovski, only because he had months of training to do so against Charles Oliveira. So what does this mean? This means that Alexander Volkanovski has nothing to lose and everything to gain. And even Daniel Cormier touched up on this.
This is another one of those no-lose situations. He wins, he is the man. If he loses, people will just say, well, he took the fight on 10 days notice. What can you expect when you're fighting the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world?